There seems to be a general attitude of a lot of Hollywood regarding the online community.
We didn't really have the internet back in 1988 when you were shooting this, so the grumbling, whiners, and complainers didn't get a chance to attack as hard as they do nowadays.
Well, it's like they just did. I mean, they just announced something with Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's like, you know, I'm sure he can handle it, but you know, it's tough out there.
Yeah, a lot of haters, a lot of little trolls hiding behind their little mom's basement.
This whole thing just really grinds my gears. You know why? Because as much as Hollywood loves to just dismiss the entire online world as a bunch of trolls, you never hear them say that when the online reaction is good, do you? When the online reaction is positive, ooh boy, it's a whole different story then, isn't it? They love it. There's no calling us trolls then. They eat it up. They're like, the adulation. But if it's negative, who cares? They're all a bunch of trolls. Kinda hypocritical, isn't it? If you want to take all the good stuff that comes from the online world, Hollywood, you gotta take the bad stuff too. But more importantly, that whole kind of thinking is really an outdated mindset, isn't it? And I really do believe that the future of movies is gonna belong to the movie studios who know how to embrace the online world rather than treat it as an enemy. When you really think about it, what is it that makes a movie successful? Well, a lot of people have to go see it. I mean, sure, good reviews and good reception, all that really helps a lot. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But basically, bums in seats, people actually buying tickets, that's what makes a movie successful. No movie can succeed if people don't go to see it. And what is it that makes people to go and see something? Well, amongst other things, if everybody else is talking about it.
Well, you know how these things start. One guy tells another guy something, and then he tells two friends. And they tell two friends, and they tell their friends, and so on, and so on, and so on.
And what's the single biggest way that word of mouth can spread about something? The internet. The movie becomes a success when it's embraced by popular culture, and popular culture is driven by the internet more so than anything else. Just consider this. The internet went officially online in 1989, but it was pretty different then than it is today. It wasn't really until the year 2000 that the internet really became mainstream and just regular people started including it as part of their everyday life. Google went up in 1998, the first social networking site, MySpace, in 2003, Facebook 2004, YouTube 2005, Twitter 2006. See, this is the internet that we all know today. Interestingly, around about the same time in movies, the X-Men franchise started in 1999, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man hit in 2002, the Nolan trilogy started in 2005, and the Marvel Universe began with Iron Man in 2007. Those are all the biggest comic book movie franchises out there, and they all started around the same time. Sure, this could just be a coincidence, but here's what I think. The first people online were nerds like us, and nerds like us love comics. So I believe that as the online world sort of grew into people's lives more and more, so did nerd culture. That's why there's been a growing demand for comic book movies since the internet has come online. That's why people went and see it. That's why those movies were successful. The internet created the demand for those movies and made them successful, because the internet is pop culture. Now, I do understand why some of the old hats in Hollywood don't like the internet because of the whole movie piracy thing and trolls attacking. I get it, I do. But what they need to understand is that it's a double-edged sword. If the internet gets behind something, it can turn a hit into a mega hit as the good word of mouth spreads. But if the internet decides to hate on something, it can turn what might have otherwise been just sort of an underperforming movie into a colossal bomb as the bad word of mouth spreads. So it cuts both ways. Point is, if Hollywood wants to plug into the good word of mouth in the internet and avoid the bad, they need to factor in the online world into their marketing, or at least to just be aware of it. When it comes to movies, we could compare the internet to like a campfire. If you tend to it, if you stoke those flames carefully, it'll keep you warm, it'll cook your food to keep you fed, it will light up your campsite. But if you don't tend it properly, and if you don't pay attention to it, it can get out of control, turn into a raging fire, and burn your entire camp to the ground. Firefighters have a saying, never turn your back on a fire, because it only takes a few sparks flying towards the dry grass for things to go really bad. So that's why I believe that the future of the movie business is going to belong to those studios who don't turn their backs on the internet. Because if you do, you might get burned. So, that has been another World According to Bandit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's obviously an interesting topic for all of us as nerds and people on the online community and movie fans and comic book fans and all that. So put your thoughts in the comments below. I am Bandit, this is Bandit Incorporated, and until next time, I will see you guys in the comments. People continue to be impressed with Tom Cruise, and that's really fascinating when you cast your mind back to a lot of his shenanigans in the past. Tom Cruise is certainly no stranger to controversy or bad publicity, but unlike other celebrities that go through meltdowns, Tom Cruise has managed to not only weather the storm of that backlash from when he went crazy, but somehow also retain his status as a movie star despite everything. That's pretty remarkable when you think about it. Why is that though?